Well, good evening, everybody. This is Lolo. Welcome back to our channel, Kitchen Table Talk at Lolo's. Well, we told you all about this awesome lady, business, ministry, family woman, awesome lady, great family. I had the privilege and the honor to sit down with her and her mom for I think it's the 81st or 82nd birthday. Lovely family. Let's welcome Lady J to Kitchen Table Talk with Lolo's. Good evening, my sister. How are you doing?
My brother. I am
Yeah,
looking
man.
on in my house to see who you are talking about. But then I realized only be one in here.
You,
So
you,
why
you,
be
can, you, can,
talking to me?
you can send a check to Kitchen Table Talk at Lolo's. How about
Well,
that?
you know what I'm talking about, but Well, thank you so much for having me on, and it's a pleasure all the time when I come to talk with you. We always get into so much things, but you know, today
Yes,
we actually had to make a content table of content for today.
yes, and we will do so. Well, what we can do, we can talk a little bit about the original Island Girl,
Uh-oh.
and we can move on to transitioning from the Bahamas to the U.S.
Oh my goodness.
We're going to talk a little bit about the comparison of the weather and the geographical location of the U.S. where you're presently living now versus the sunny islands of the Bahamas, 21 miles by 7 wide. And I understand that you move here with ministry and you and that preacher, y'all got married and you have a few kids. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Then I want to touch on your input on the health, the health industry and health provision
Mm.
for your children and yourself. And then I have a very important question I'll be asking you to the end. And I'm hoping
Oh,
that the listeners and the viewers stay tuned for this specific question because
oh.
I too very curious about this specific question that Lady J is going to answer. And then we're going to close out talking about a little bit about her business, successful business, and ministry. Lady J, let's talk about this. I've been hearing about this island girl, island girl, island girl. And my spiritual brother just keep talking about, boy, you got to meet island girl. Talk to me, Lady J. How did you get the name
Mm.
Island Girl?
Well, oh my goodness. I and it's such and you really want me to go all the way back there. But I just growing up in where I come from, I'm me and you came from the same place back in that beautiful place where all that water and fresh food and everything else is there in the Bahamas.
Yes,
And
yes,
but living there, every girl is an island girl. I can't. I mean, what do you say? But when
yes.
they say they take the man of the country, but you can't take the country of the man. Well, same here with the women. So when I came out of the Bahamas and I moved to the United States, I was the island girl, and so
Yeah.
the name kind of stuck.
Ah, ah,
The name just kind of stuck. Because I was usually the one from the island, and everybody else was American, European, and so I tell them America is just a big island, but they look at me as the it. So it kind of stuck with me. All the mayor and the chief of police, the sheriff, everybody called me Island Girl. So
wow. Amazing. So that's how you got the name Island Girl. And I
yes, sir.
understand, I know we're going to talk a little bit about business later, but I understand you actually have a successful business, the Island Girl Cafe.
Yes. Hey, who else? Island Girl Cafe featuring what? The Island Girl. None other.
That is awesome. That is awesome. But let's talk a little bit about your transitioning from the Bahamas to the United States. When did this take place?
Well, this officially it took place back in 1996, and
Huh.
I came here And one of the things I did was I came here with my fiance, what happened to be your brother. And I
Yes.
mean, so you see how we connected people? And I didn't know him yet. I didn't know Dr. Lolo yet, but I am so glad I finally met him, who was way up in New York. I sure y'all know his history. And
Yeah.
we came here, and 2 weeks after we came to America, we got married. And um, he decided he wanted to stay because my family was here, but he decided he wanted to stay, so we stayed. Ta-da!
I know you mentioned brother, and I guess that may pop a question in the viewer's mind. This is your thunder, but just throw a little lightning in there.
Oh boy.
He became my brother when I was 25. I think he was probably a year younger than I were. And we were both members of Bahamas Faith Ministries International, BFM. We were located up on Marquis Street in Nassau, Bahamas.
Isn't that Miles
And we
Monroe?
had a men's retreat.
Mm-hmm.
We had a men's retreat out west. And Dr. Miles Monroe said, all right, guys, y'all need to pair up men together. Choose a brother who can be your brother for life, your spiritual brother. And let's pray and bind you two spiritually. So when y'all go to it. And that's how Philip Joshua Collins chose me. The cameraman chose Lolo,
The
Mr.
Music Man.
Trumpet, Mr. Trumpet. And we became brothers from that. And it was so cool because yeah, I remember moving to New York in 1991 to take care of my then ailing mom. And I ended up getting married, a second marriage, of course, and moving to the Bronx. And I got this phone call. And you guys were upstate.
Yes, I
You
moved
guys
up.
were upstate.
Hey,
You guys were upstate. And I remember, I think you were pregnant with your first child.
don't tell nobody.
And my wife had you walking, said you
I
were
don't
not
want
out of
I
it. You were
still look here. I still to this day don't like her for that. She made me walk 19 blocks, and I still wouldn't have that baby.
but you love it though,
Yes, I can't stand. I just talked to her yesterday.
because it was easy.
It
Yeah.
was
I mean, I mean, you're transitioning with ministry and taking up a position with ministry here
yeah.
and and actually doing the work of ministry in New Jersey and the North and all over and linking up with the rabbis, and you guys had a very interesting life.
Mm-hmm.
How you felt during that time transitioning from the Bahamas? I know you had family here, but
Mm-hmm.
not all your family were here, and not many of your friends were here. Because I believe, if I understood, you left many of your friends behind because they weren't in ministry with you. Tell me a little bit about what you went through then. Was it hard? Was it heartbreaking? Was it sorrow? Did ministry cover all of what would made you feel homesick? And you stayed. Tell me a little bit more.
Listen, what we tend to think is that when we come because of ministry, that ministry be our support. And for those who can't see me, no.
Okay.
You have to sometimes, I mean, a lot of us know that in ministry,
Mhm.
um, we're volunteers. A
Right.
lot of us are volunteers. If you're not in the top upper echelon of the ministry,
Mm.
you volunteer. And
Yes.
so coming here, it was hard. It
Oh
was
wow.
hard. I mean, even with the ministry coming from the Bahamas, we were up there in the ministry. So it was, I mean, sort of a thing where, in the Bahamas, the way we look at ministry, we should support everyone. We get behind ministry, and if you up
Yes.
there, we can give you tithes and offering, and we
Yes.
gonna support in every way.
Yeah.
I'm coming here. No.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't, the Bible say, if you don't work, you don't eat.
Right.
That was what we knew, and thank God we always had a work ethic where
Right.
we feel in the Bahamas that you have to work for what you need and everything. Because if we didn't come with that work ethic,
Right.
although we ministers, we would have basically starved to death. But
Right.
guess that didn't take away from the fact that we still had to do ministry.
Right.
And we weren't supported by a lot of people or a lot of things, not even our head ministry. So we took it upon ourselves to support what we were doing, and we end up in house to house meetings and prayer meetings. We went through New York, what is the Twin Towers. We end up there, right in the first tower that fell a few weeks before. We had Bible studies and stuff we used to have. So that alone, was very stressful, but we did it because that's what we learned coming up. When you
Right.
when you dedicate yourself to ministry, you dedicate yourself to ministry at all costs.
So the transition was challenging, but you would probably say your love for God and love for ministry made it made it
Made it and brought me through it.
okay. And the weather. Let's talk a little bit about the weather
Uh,
because it's 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 warm. It's literally warm 8 months of the year in the Bahamas, and it's only chilly. And I can say it never gets cold because to me, cold is 35, 35 to 40. That's cold.
yeah.
We go in the closet, we take off half of the clothes of the closet, we wear everything. But in New York, if I'm remembering, you guys were treading snow.
Man, we had to shake the door and to get outside because we was living in Yonkers right at the bay. And I was pregnant at the time. And do you believe that's almost 24 years? That's 24 years ago. And I fell in the snow and hit the side of my belly, my big old pregnant belly. And I had to get used. I love the cold though. Growing up the Bahamas was one thing. I didn't like heat. I love the
Oh,
cold. I used to walk around in my t-shirt in New York, even when it's
oh,
cold. I don't know why. I just loved it. I still love it to this day. But I had to get used to it constantly because
right.
it's more than just for the week or for in the Bahamas, it's cold for a week. If it's
Yeah,
60 degrees, everybody wants to stay home from school.
yeah,
But here, when it gets cold, you got to go to work or your light gonna get turned off and you have no heat now.
yeah, yeah. So the weather is a big difference to the weather change. And
Mm-hmm.
I understand you moved south now. You live in south now. The geographical location, the area where you live now. How is that weather in comparison to the Bahamas and north? Because
Well,
I'm quite sure you don't get much snow where you live in now.
no, we don't get much snow, but the cold is kind of wet. There's a lot of pond and puddle where you'll find fish in a puddle on the side of the highway. People go fishing standing on the road because so when it gets cold, you got a lot of moisture.
Right.
And so therefore, if it don't get cold enough, when springtime like now comes, you're gonna end up with storms and tornadoes.
Oh
So
wow.
right. And so we be glad when it get cold now because if it don't get cold enough, it stays hot. The storms are worse during the summer.
Okay. Okay.
So you appreciate the cold now,
Okay.
just to
Wow.
avoid storms in the springtime.
So you look your location without saying exactly where you are, eastern, southeast.
I'm in the
What
Wiregrass. That's what they call this side of
they
the
call
wire
it?
the Wiregrass. It's because of there's some you know the blackberries.
Yeah.
They are very popular around here.
Uh,
And let me tell you, when you hear Wiregrass, they will tear up your legs if you get caught up in it. But they got some sweet tasting berries.
oh, the berries are edible.
Yes, 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 yes.
So if I walk down the street and I see a guy with a bunch of scratches on him in the area where you live, he's a berry guy. He's been eating berries.
Yeah, you've been stealing berries.
Well, what's how it's like raising children where you are now? Because I'm quite sure. I mean, I think your second and third child was born in the region where you are now, correct?
Yes, yes. The second and third
Oops.
one,
So
the
you
first
so
one
you uh-huh.
up there after your people made me walk for 19 count. I mean, yeah, and from what's that road name? 119 to two. I even forget the numbers. I just know
I
it
think
was
it's just, I think yeah.
it was all what's that Harlem, part of Harlem, and she made me walk. I just tired. I always think about her when I look at my son. He's 24 come April. But having those two down here compared to having him up there, I think down here is more palatable for kids to be grown because you don't have all of those upfront issues with safety. Um,
Okay.
the school system, well, for me, I homeschool them, the three of them.
Okay. Okay.
They graduate. The last one is doing his test now for graduation, and I homeschool them, which for me was easier. But
Okay.
the challenges of growing them up, say from New York to here, where I am in the Wiregrass area, um, there's not so much dangers down here. The
You in the
area,
country.
yeah, it's so spaced out that you don't have planned present danger like you
Okay.
would in New York City.
Uh-huh.
In the Bronx. So you and then with them being homeschooled, it's a challenge when it comes to their social inaptness. You
Okay.
see,
Your volume is gone. Your volume is gone. Can't hear. Your volume. Where's your volume go?
I don't know what happened just
Got it. It's
now.
back. Volume's back.
Now you're mute.
I'm mute.
But the thing is, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes. Okay.
There you go.
There you go.
All right. Um, thing is with homeschool, there's a lot of social. Well, say they're socially backward sometimes, but with the school system, you have a little things that have a problem, but there's not that bullying so much. So with
Mhm.
the school shootings, we don't have as much as those things and all of
Okay.
that. So growing them up down here, I think it's safer from
Okay.
my perspective. Now, when it comes to growing up, I don't know if you want me, growing up children here compared to the Bahamas. I'd pick the Bahamas any day because you know how we are. We want to spank our children when they do things that is
Yeah.
out of, and corporal punishment is it's not it's not illegal, but it's frowned upon.
Okay.
In our day, we always we our my parents always had something going on where we got corporal punishment. But for me raising my kids, I didn't have much problem out of them because I taught them.
Right.
Your children, they they understand because children are little people. They have their
Yes.
own, their peer group is just like their own society. And if you teach children, they will understand.
Right.
So with me teaching them, I didn't have to, I just explained to them what I wanted from them. And I let them tell me what they needed from me. And
Mhm.
so with that, it made a very easy relationship between me and my 2 year old, me and my 3 year old, me and my 5 year old, me and my 7 year old, me and my 12 year old. Each time you have to adjust your parenting skills to that age group, or you will end up in being frustrated. So proper punishment for them, whether it's the Bahamas with me helping my sisters growing up their kids, or me here growing up mine on my own. No profanity, no biting, no lying. That's corporal punishment. You see? And I didn't have to worry about the fighting because they love each other like they 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 like little mouse laying on top of each other, you know. But it has to be set where you set a and even with their father, Josh, God rest his soul, we did not give corporal punishment except for those three things. And we agreed upon that. There was no
Right.
reason to spank a child if they didn't do one of those three things. It
Right.
had to really, really bad. We taught them to speak up, speak them. We had a time where there was no punishment for what you say. We had
Right.
family meeting, business meeting, and my
Right.
kids learned that. And so they learned to speak up. They weren't rude. I didn't consider them rude if they spoke their mind. And that's one of the things we have eliminated from child rearing is kids speaking their mind without fear of retaliation.
Okay. Understood. That's healthy. That's very healthy in the family.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings me to my next question.
Mm.
The health system, does it provide enough for your children here based on how you were brought up in the Bahamas? The health system in the Bahamas that is provided for you. Um, is there a comparison? Can you compare it?
I don't know if I can because growing up in the Bahamas, we really didn't go to the doctor that much. The food was healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we played outside.
Uh-huh.
We were responsible for each other.
Always.
We had herbal medicines that we took every day.
Yeah.
Our routine was we went, even with my mother, we foraged the things that we foraged in the garden was a part of our meal.
Okay.
So one of the things is, the reason I'm saying this is in our health, I never knew that I had an iron deficiency until I was grown and on my own.
Wow.
It was a part of most of the women of my family to have iron deficiency. I never knew that.
Mm.
Reason given, my mom made our health a part of our meal system, a part of our health cure.
Okay.
So we grew spinach in the yard. So we went outside every day and picked spinach, and I love spinach to this day. She cooked it with bacon and butter and onions. Awesome. You understand? Then we then we went outside and we picked coconut and
Right.
we drank coconut water and ate coconut. We went outside and we picked shepherd needle. As me and you into this holistic thing. We picked shepherd needle and we had that for tea. The aloe outside the door, we took that and we put it on burns. We ate it and we killed the mucus and our skin. And so everything that we lived our daily life was part of our healthcare system.
Right.
You see, so coming here to the United States, when I first came, me and my husband, Joshua, both of us got sick.
Mm.
We got sick immediately, and we were sick for almost a year and a half, wondering why we were sick. And we couldn't figure it out. But it was our food. It was the
Right.
transition of our food and the way we ate. And we didn't realize it until a while later when we began to understand. And we was like, what is going on? And then that's when I met you.
Mm-hmm.
And you told me you got sick when you first came, and then you had to adjust with your food. Remember?
Yes.
And you begin to understand your my divine diet. And
Correct.
you see, so me and you, when we first met, and up to this day, we're still working out our food system
Correct.
since transition from our country here. And
Yes.
people don't
Lifestyle.
understand that's our whole healthcare system.
Yes.
So you have come to a place where your healthcare system is your meal, is your kitchen. You see, and I am working on that. I'm you did better than I did because I had to drop children and you were still working on yours. But the healthcare system here, um, it's accessible, or more, should I say, more financially accessible.
Okay.
You see, because you can get help from the government.
Yes.
The insurance here is easier to be used than it is in the Bahamas. You see, I could compare that because I had situations with both things. But if we don't take our healthcare system and put it in our kitchen, meaning our meal system, we're gonna stay in the doctor's office
Yeah.
and for broken bones or back problem or knee problem. It's gonna be for a simple cold, for simple things that is easy to fix, like a cold that you can just boil some lemon and what's this thing called celery and rosemary and drink some tea and get rid of a cold. And instead we go to the store and we buy some kind of antihistamine.
Mm.
You see, so the healthcare system here is is all about pills.
Right.
But growing up in the Bahamas, it was about nature and herbs and 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 taking care of each other.
So there
Not
is a big. So there's a difference.
oh
Help.
my, it's huge.
Yeah. And and you stuck with you stuck with the old way. You stuck with home. When you said you can take the gal of the country, but you can't take the country of the gal.
Hey, so you know what I did? I learned how to use the herbs here
Gotcha.
and do what I know to do from back then. So
Right.
I in intric- intricately
Uh-huh.
woven my past life with my present.
Gotcha.
And now I'm teaching my children that food is your medicine.
Mm.
You can't eat McDonald's and expect to feel good tomorrow morning. You can't
Right.
eat McDonald's at 12 o'clock in the night and and then go to bed and expect to have energy in the morning.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So I am teaching them now how to forage. So Manny, your little favorite, you know that one right
Yes.
there. When he feels like he's catching a cold or he don't feel, Mama, I don't feel all right. All I half hour later, I look and he's in the kitchen with herbs that he went out in the yard and picked, and he's got it boiling on the stove.
Wow.
So see, I remember, I don't know if you remember, I can't remember the name guy. This guy is from Dubai. He said 100 years ago, my grandparents was riding horses. He said 50 years ago, we were driving cars, regular cars. Say now the grandkids are driving Lamborghinis. He said, but because they are driving Lamborghinis today and they don't understand about driving horses, their grandchildren are going to be driving horses because they have to.
Wow.
So we have to teach them how to take care of their health in a non medical way.
Right.
Because
It's best to know both.
you see what I'm saying? There's gonna always be weed. Do you know collard greens used to be a weed? You
Ain't
know,
that something?
I'm telling you, these things that we so love, mushroom, things that we so love today and we make an intricate part of our meals, they used to be considered weed. But if
Yeah.
Go. What you say?
That is that's the truth.
Yeah. So in a salad, if you go to a high class restaurant, I'm putting it like that, a high class restaurant, they have salads, and you don't see the regular lettuce. Sometimes you don't even see the romaine. You see a bunch of purplish looking, colorful looking lettuce, and they call it muslim. You know what that is?
Yes,
That's
sir.
that grows on the side of the road. It grows right outside your door. They
Green.
step on it, but the smart man went and took it and he calls it wild lettuce. So we're stepping on the food that we go and pay $50 for a bowl of salad for. That's our medicine. That there will change the trajectory of the healthcare system if we take our health in our own hands and bring it back to the kitchen and teach our children that candy is not it, you don't need a candy. Eat a grape, eat a
Right.
strawberry. You understand? Eat a
Mm-hmm.
blueberry. Not only energy, but it's an omega, or something that would put you in a better physical place. Not only that, but your mental, it activates something in you.
Right.
Real good. I'm telling you. This one more thing, and then we can go on. I'm just say this. The other day I had knee surgery.
Okay.
Time coming. This is something that I've been dealing with from I was 4. I had knee surgery, and I'm in my room and I'm waiting for people to bring food for me, and I can't get up. And I call it throwing food to the animals in the zoo. You know how they just bring them whatever they want to bring them, and if you ask for something, you ain't gonna get it because they just gonna bring what they want. I got tired, Lawrence. Dr. Lolo. I got up and I came in the kitchen and I went and I got because okra helps to strengthen the inner man. People don't understand that.
The
Okra can.
fiber.
I got me some okra and I steam them down. I got me some vegetables and steam them down. And I got and I got up and I fixed my own food. I was tired of them bringing me burger and you laughing. And my leg was hurting, but I didn't care because you know what? I, my inner man needed something that was uplifting.
Right.
So I went and cooked me a bunch of vegetables. Everything had vegetables in it. And then I sat down, and when I finished eating, I felt a freshness in my body that I hadn't felt for 2 months.
Wow.
If we would learn to take the healthcare system and put it in our kitchen and make it a meal, we wouldn't be in the doctor's office every week. And teach our children, and they won't be.
Now I understand you do some of this in your business. You do some of this in Island Girl Cafe
Man, that's my life.
because I heard some of the people over there were boasting about Island Girl, the food that's coming out of Island Girl Cafe. I understand that you made Island Girl Cafe a part of your ministry, outreach ministry.
Yes.
What's the name of your outreach ministry again?
Workers of the word.
Workers of the Word. I think I googled that the other day and it came up. I'm not sure if I found Lady J's Workers of the Word, but I found Workers of the Word.
There's a lot of workers around. I when I first had the name, I googled it and I was like, "Hey, why do I have to be one of them?" But hey, sometimes we need another one somewhere else. Just how we need a Kroger in Atlanta, we need a Kroger here.
Yeah,
So
because I remember reaching out to you for one of our what's the word I'm looking for? A young lady from the Bahamas who actually had 3 children who needed help, and
uh-huh.
you took her in.
Hey, you know what the Lord said to me one time? He said, ministry is ministry.
Okay.
How can you choose who to minister to?
Right. Yeah,
So
you took in a countryman.
she was here for 18 months.
18 months.
I mean, she was only supposed to be here for a few weeks, but hey,
Her and her three children, I think.
yes, and she was pregnant when she got here, and we took care of her, make sure her baby was, and she had serious health issues, diabetic, and we took care of all of that for her. She didn't have to pay any bills. We took care of everything, and there were some things that happened, but you know what the Lord said to me one time. He said, "The same people that do you wrong, if I tell you to help them, what would you do?"
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know. He said, "But outreach is outreach.
Outreach is outreach.
You can't choose who to help if I tell you to help them.
Right.
In outreach, you got to do what you went in there to do."
Right.
And so we had come all the way to Atlanta. If you remember, that was right after the hurricane in the Bahamas, and we were at the time gathering and gleaning stuff to bring to send. We sent a whole 53 loader
Yes.
container.
I remembered now. We took stuff to the Bahamas consulate because
Yes,
I remember going and getting a lot of stuff and taking some boxes and taking them upstairs as well.
my
And you
brother.
also you also helped some of the locals because I understand you had like with four different of the local young ladies working at the restaurant there.
Yes, I had some of them, and some of them have their. One was a former drug addict, and I think she had fallen back on the wayside. But her sister took the children, and the sister still works for me, so we still help the kids. Um, and the other one, she had a baby, and she moved on, but she's doing much better. And a lot of the ladies. So if I have, I mean, I think it awesome for me to come out with 90% um, on the upside when people
Okay.
come of that ministry and they are able to help themselves, because our goal is to help people to never end up at an outreach again.
Right.
You understand that?
Right.
That should never again be their plight when they leave us, because we should help them stand on their feet and not just teach them to fish. I mean, not just give them a fish, but to teach them so that they would know, I will never end up here again.
Wow. Now that question we talked about, and
Huh?
I ask everybody to stay to the end. We have another, I think we got like 3 minutes. Mike, this is the question. Would you relocate or go back to the Bahamas?
I just was thinking about that the other day, and I need enough money to buy me an island. I want someplace because I love the country. I love the quiet, and I always tell every time I go to Atlanta, and and somebody get on my nerve, I say I love my bush. I love the quiet. I love being to myself. Some people don't like being to themselves, but I love being with myself and talking with God. And so, in order for me to move back home, I have to have a place where I'm by myself.
Okay.
I mean, if my family's there, that's fine. I'm not talking, you know, I'm talking about no outside interference within a certain mile perimeter at least, so that I can be able to talk to God in such an atmosphere of beauty and sunshine and water. I want to be able to just you understand. I don't know if you understand. I sure you
I
understand.
understand. Sun, sand, and sea.
Yes, Lord.
There are
And
700 islands, approximately 2,000 keys. The population is still right at 400,000. There's
glory.
still only 30 permanently inhabited islands. You can
Ooh,
always buy one.
that's what I'm saying. I need some money,
Yeah.
man. But
Well,
listen,
uh,
I grew up, my mom and my stepdad, we grew up. We got up at 4 a.m. in the morning every morning.
Mm.
We went to the beach in the dark and swam. And they went to the beach and they would have prayer meeting in the water. And you would, when you're walking up to the beach in at 4:30, 4:15 in the morning, you would hear people praying and talking about scripture. And that's what I grew up on. Coming to the beach and having prayer meeting early in the morning and exercising. And then as I began to get older, I used to get up and I started training for the triathlon because my goal was to hit Hawaii for the triathlon.
Wow.
And I used to cycle for 25 miles every morning, except on Sabbath